Guys, what's up? Welcome back. Man, I know previously I talked about my consistency with these videos. That's not even a conversation no more, because clearly I've been unable to stick with my 2 a week, and that's cool. That doesn't mean give up. It doesn't mean that I'm no longer giving this a real shot. Obviously you have to be consistent, but when you lose consistency, jumping back on it is better than just allowing the whole thing to just flop entirely because you realize you're not consistent. Well, probably not everybody starts out consistent. Some people do. In my case, I've been unable to remain consistent, but I'm not going to allow this whole thing to just drop off. So I'm back. Today is what? I don't even know what today is. It's today should be Tuesday, actually. Yeah, it's Tuesday. So I wanted to come to have a brief discussion with mostly the men. All right. Women chime in. It's not to say you're not welcome to listen in, but this is geared towards the men. All right. Guys, if you're planning to get married, or you are married, just got married, however long you have been married, if you're not yet married, what I want you to brace yourself for is the idea that you could begin to lose your masculinity. That is what we're going to be jumping in today and talking about. Obviously, you now understand why I said that this is for the men. I can't really give the women anything in terms of a masculinity discussion, but you're more than welcome to join in and listen. Guys, brace yourselves. Again, you can begin to lose your masculinity. And we're talking in terms of your mental state, how you see yourself, your value in yourself, your self-worth. The reason I'm saying this, coming from, I guess we could say secondhand experience and firsthand experience. My experience has been that when I was single, I was so used to being able to pick and choose, let's say it this way, being able to pick and choose which women I was going to entertain, when I would entertain them, and when I was done entertaining them. And that would depend largely on whether or not I was getting what I wanted out of that interaction. Now, as selfish as that sounds, what I want to challenge anybody who would be against that, what I would want to challenge you to understand is that when it comes to keeping a hold onto your self-worth, you cannot compromise that by sticking around with people who will make it their priority to challenge your values, challenge what you believe, challenge how you feel about yourself, challenge who you know you are. For example, which I'm sure a lot of guys can attest to this. You know, you'll get involved with a woman, and maybe she wants a relationship out of it. Maybe that's what she wants, but perhaps you don't. I've had it where I've been involved with women, and it would turn into something briefly, if not at all. It would turn into something. And then there were involvements with women where I didn't want anything past an involvement, so to speak. Let's keep that simple. And what I found a lot of times is that it would cause some conflict, simply because I went in knowing what I wanted, and I wasn't going to allow myself to be bent in a direction that I did not initially intend and never intended. And so what that does is that just, again, that just causes unnecessary conflict. And so you're left with two options. Either you're going to stick around and treat this individual like you owe them anything, or you can shut it down, because now you have found yourself with this individual at an intersection where you're going one direction, that person is going another. And so that's called dating, by the way. Okay, that's called dating. Now, what I just did was I just painted a whole picture around that and showed you a little bit of the ugly in terms of what dating is all about. Well, men, when you get used to having your pick of options and that expanded dating pool, when you get used to having that, and then you one day find a great woman, one that's worth settling down with, what you'll realize is that things begin to change a little bit. And what I mean by that is now you can't just dump this one to the side like you did the others. Is because there's a difference in value. Obviously, this one that you're now involved with gives you more reason to stick around, right? There's more reason here for you to stick around. And so you're going to have to deal with things that you may not want to deal with. And let's just say this involvement with this new person has now become marriage. Let's say it's become marriage. What are you going to do then? Oh, I'm not married to you right now. I'm just going to go, yeah, see you when I see you. No, you can't do that here, right? You can't do that here. And so what happens to you now is that because you have to put up with things that it used to be that you would not have put up with, it's now starting to deteriorate that person that you used to be, that confident, carefree, whatever, yada, yada. Okay, nice to meet you. All those traits that made different women attracted to you, that carefreeness, that non-reactiveness that you were as a result of being able to just pick up and walk away, that element of you begins to fall apart. Now that you're in a relationship, now that you're in a marriage where now you have to take on some of the pressures that would normally come with just about any woman. If you don't realize it by now, which I'm sure you have, women are not wired to process things the way that we process things. Simply put, they don't have the same genetic makeup as we do, especially up here. Right? We see a situation and the first thing we want to do is sort out how we're about to solve the problem. Whereas women, they have to be engulfed by the situation. They have to they have to allow their senses to go into overdrive, and they have to feel what's going on, right? Before they can get to fixing. And sometimes they may never get around to that. And this is where you find yourself waiting on that woman to come to a place where, okay, we're going to find a solution and we're going to fix this thing right now. Right? Well, and for those of you who are married and you've been married for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You knew exactly where I was going at the start of this video, right? So what's happened now is your carefreeness and your reluctance to react to your woman now turns into not valuing how she feels. You're faced with this monster of confusion wherein it's being calculated one way in her head and calculated in another in your head because it's man versus woman, right? And so what does that mean? Does that mean now that you have to start looking at divorce? Is that what that means? I wouldn't say so. To each their own, but I wouldn't say so. Earlier on, if you've already been subscribed to this channel, earlier on in a previous video, you remember me asking you guys if it made sense, aside from the fact that you love this woman, does it make sense that you ever got involved? Did it make sense? And now here we are asking that same question. Did it ever make sense? Was there any value behind the decision to get married to this individual outside of love, which is a fleeting emotion? Yes, deep down to your core, you love the person always, but the evidence of that love, is it always present? Is the evidence of that love always present? Well, no, it's not. And that's just our humanity. There's nothing wrong with that. Does that mean that you're excused to disrespect your partner whenever you feel like it because that evidence of love is not present? No, that's not what I'm saying. There's still some control that's to be had over this thing, even when that emotion is fleeting. You're not a child. We're adults. This is why adults get married, not children. Okay? But what I would challenge you to do now is, because what's going to happen is now that non-reactiveness is beginning to fall apart, because now you have to react to her. You can't just pick up and walk away. You're kind of cornered now. You have to react. And if you don't, you get the constant story of you don't value me, you don't appreciate what I do, you don't value how I feel, you don't care about how I feel, yada, 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 yada. Now you have to react. But how are you going to react? Are you going to allow that conversation, that fight, to pull you in? Are you going to follow down behind her emotionally and ride her emotional roller coaster with her? I would challenge you not to do so, because what's going to happen now is she's going to lose attraction for you. She's going to lose attraction, and she's going to lose respect for you. Why? Because now you're acting like a woman. You're developing traits that you did not have in the beginning. And so now you're starting to look like a fraud. What you're now displaying is not what she signed up for. That masculinity, that non-reactiveness, that carefreeness that attracted her to you in the first place. That's not what you're displaying right now. And so what do? Is this why most men stay away from marriage? Probably. Is this why most people give up on marriage? Probably. To each their own, like I said. But does that mean you have to stay away from marriage? Does that mean you have to give up on your marriage? No. It's not what that means at all. What I would challenge you to do is to hold your frame. As the man, you are the leader. She may not come out and admit that to you all the time. She'll admit it to you when it's convenient. Oh, you're the leader. Yeah, when it's convenient. But right now it's not. When she's on an emotional roller coaster, she's not going to admit to you that she's looking for your leadership. You see, that same groundedness when she first found you, that same carefree and non-reactiveness that she saw in you, was something she knew she needed to remain grounded. Maybe not something she consciously knew she needed, but somewhere hardwired in her physiological self, her subconscious, she knew that there were elements in you as a counterpart that were absolutely necessary to be a part of her life, her survival. Now, when you dismantle these things, or you allow these emotional roller coasters to dismantle you, in a sense where now you're reactive, now you're emotional, now you care. I'm not saying don't care, but this is what a good scenario of one holding tight to his masculinity would look like, all right? When you're having a fight, which women, this is where I'd like for you to chime in, right here. Right here is where I want you guys to chime in if you haven't already left this video. Women, because they're women and they're wired to react, wired to feel, when you find yourself getting into a fight with your woman, in this case your wife now, because you can't just pick up and go, but with your wife, and because she's wired to feel, because she's wired to experience what's happening differently than you are, you might get something like this. You just don't care. You don't care how I feel. You don't care. And because you're a man, right, you're probably looking at her like, what? Or whatever, right? And so this is how it goes. And deep down inside, because you can't go anywhere, you can't just take off and go peace, you want to defend yourself. Right away, you want to defend yourself and do what you can to try and change her mind, to try to catch her on the way up on that emotional roller coaster and keep her back down, when that's not your job, man. That's not your job. Now, can you briefly state your case? Sure. If she's getting disrespectful, can you tell her that you're not going to have it? Absolutely. And in fact, I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to do so. Women feel strongly, man. They feel, and they feel strongly. So it is not for you to take everything personally. You know, I was watching a video earlier and it was talking about anger and the anger in women. That it was a woman basically talking about how if we as men understood just how much anger about something a woman actually felt, we would be staggered. That when oftentimes when a woman just goes, no, it's nothing, it's okay, I'm all right, no, don't worry about it, I'm okay, actually there's something different going on internally. And so and that's just woman to woman, you know, that's case by case. That's not every woman. Some women are actually okay, but the majority of the time they're not. And it's not your responsibility to try and keep her from being emotional. In fact, you're doing her an injustice by not allowing her to be who she was designed to be. She was designed to feel. Things were designed, things were meant to matter to her. Based on her mental makeup. That's just the way that it is. Is it frustrating sometimes? Yeah. Your only job is to do this. Listen. Show some concern while not getting run over. I'm not saying be her doormat or, punching bag, nothing like that. Cut it off when she starts being disrespectful. But you need to look her in the eyes and let her know if she's being disrespectful, you're not going to have it. Right? But you're not going to have it. Now, when you were single and you were able to just walk away and go pick up another woman, and that's where your confidence came from, you need to have that same confidence, but not in the idea that you can just go pick up and go meet another woman. This is not what we're trying to teach here. But that same fact, that same faculty, that same element of confidence that existed in your mind needs to always be there. Your woman needs to know that at all times, when she's ready to come back down and be grounded, you're her anchor. You can be there. You are there. You did not follow her on her emotional roller coaster, allowing her to be the leader in this situation. But that you are the constant. That when she's done with whatever she's feeling, she can come back and hold on to you. And it's not to say that we men don't feel anything. You do feel something when you get back into that corner that sometimes can be marriage, and you realize, dang, I can't go call Shelly, or dang, Tina ain't around the corner no more, or dang, yeah, it's time to go. You can't do that now. You can't do that now. Those glory days are over. But what you still can do is demand respect. What you can still do is maintain that constant level of confidence in knowing that no matter what's going on right now, you're going to be okay. And your woman needs to see that. If she can't see that, she begins to lose respect for you. Again, you begin to look like a fraud. Right? So to summarize and to sum it up, your job is not to keep her off her emotional roller coaster. A woman is going to feel. That is what she was designed to do. That's how God created her. And for you to try to dismantle that or change that, you're gonna lose. Period. You're gonna lose. All she needs from you is to see that you're still that same non-reactive, charismatic man. Hunk of a man that you were when she first laid eyes on you. Not this emotional sissy that's going to follow down behind her and react to her every emotion. Period.